Well, first of all, why are we talking about all this? It's very simple. It seems like people think that marketing is magic, but apparently they're still relying on the age old notion of build it and they'll come, they said. Yeah. And then all you hear as customers or clients is just this. And why? Why is that so? Well, we'll be diving into it in today's session. And by the way, we want all of you to comment, put in your questions regarding all this. We will be answering all the questions. So that's that. Okay, so who's basically saying this? Ashwini, do you want to take point on this?
What I feel that a lot of people, especially I think techies, believe that they kind of build their products and services and automatically they'll get
Mhm.
customers in, which typically never happens, especially in today's era, right? When there's so much of competition around in terms of really getting that few seconds from your target customers or target audience itself is like so difficult. They are busy themselves. So without kind of
Yep.
niching your audience properly and targeting your customers with that kind of messaging, you'll never be able to create awareness for your products and services. Previously, a lot of people were relying
Wait,
only.
hold on, hold on. I have follow-up questions about it.
Okay.
What do you think in terms of, like, for example, let's say with the simplistic belief from age-old times when, there was not a lot of competition kind of thing. So in terms of this, okay, I'd like to add to it that sometimes the products are really exceptional.
Yes.
And even then, because there's no exposure, nobody knows about the products. Okay. Nobody ends up buying. Or sometimes, I think we discussed this briefly before. Sometimes they have a couple of clients already, and that's why they actually get into the business, right? So they have a couple of clients going, hey, I have this excellent product. This couple of clients have asked me to do it. So I'm doing it, right? But then beyond that, because they're servicing the client, right? And it's, how would you say it? Like, how are you balancing the risks on that end, right? Because sometimes, what if that one client, that was the only client,
Yeah.
pretty much 100% of the business, or let's say two clients, three clients, 50% of the business, 33% of the business, whatever, 33.33% of the business. Then one of them leaves. What happens then?
Yeah. That's kind of
Like,
chaotic, right?
there's no exposure. There's no, yeah, people from outside or customers
Or clients from
from
your
outside
business is
the health
dead
system.
with that, right? Because you're kind of like relying only
Yeah.
on those two, three customers, which eventually they will, other kind of competition coming in, wooing them in,
Yep.
clients. So basically, your business is like ground zero when you're starting again. That's not
Yep.
how it's going to work, right? It's kind of like building your funnel. So though you have the existing clients, you want to like
Yep.
retain them. That's the most important thing. But you want to
Yep.
add more people, right? So eventually, even if this one, two
Yep.
people leave, you still have those customers to bank upon, rely upon, and that's how businesses will scale. If you want to just be those kind of freelancers where you have your
Yep.
clients, they go and they come in again, you're just kind of like working with that kind of a revenue threshold. So if you like really want to grow your
Yep.
business, you need to do much more than that.
Yep. So basically, like, the takeaway for this point would be, if you are in a serious business and let's say you have an exceptional product, you have a really nice product, okay? Also, in terms of priorities, like, if you have an exceptional product, you don't want to be spending time in doing your own marketing. You want to spend your time servicing the client. You want to spend your time bettering the product on the feedback that you get from the clients as well, right? Like, so this sort of stuff, I'd like to specifically point out sometimes, and this is, in my experience, so I've owned a couple of businesses before. And in my experience, a lot of times when people start, they have a really, really good product, some of them, and they don't get enough exposure. So one of the clients that I worked with, I'm not going to name any names, but it was a VR company, right? VR meditation company,
Mm-hmm.
right? Virtual reality meditation company. Now, the thing with virtual reality is people are trying to apply it to games and this and that, yeah, like, which requires a lot of movement. Let's say not sim racing games or anything like that, but let's say any sort of game that requires any sort of movement. Yeah, you have like a giant headset strapped on your head, kind of thing. But for a meditation app, you're not moving. It's perfect. It's perfect for you to, like, take you into the experience, right? But the thing is, no exposure. Absolutely no exposure. Like they were developing the technology. Okay, when I tested it, because I knew one of the engineers that was working on it, the technology was great, right?
Okay.
They had some really nice voice actors that were taking you through a meditation journey within it, right? Once you had the noise canceling headphones on, and I think it was HTC Vive, if I'm not wrong, like way back, like HTC's first VR headset, I think. Okay,
Okay.
that they were using back then. Now the technology is even greater. A couple of VR apps come to mind, not VR, but like just phone apps come to mind.
So
I'm
is this
forgetting the
like
name right now,
a
but we'll put them.
VR with meditation kind of a thing? Like you can like experience that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
your eyes
Yeah,
open, like kind
guided
of a thing?
meditation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, guided meditation. But, like even if you wear a VR headset, right?
Yeah.
And if it's sealed,
Yeah.
right? It's just black inside.
Yes.
So you don't really need to close your eyes either. It's as simple as, I don't know whether you had it or not. We had
Mm.
a couple of people in school coming in, helping us sort of rest our eyes a little bit. And they would ask us to cup our eyes like that, but have our eyes open inside. It would achieve the same effect
Okay.
with it,
Interesting.
okay, without you actually putting your arms up, okay. So you can relax. You could lay down if you want, you know,
Okay.
to go through
Interesting.
the guided meditation. But the thing is, no exposure, absolutely no exposure. And a couple of, I think Reverie is one. I think there are a couple of other apps as well.
Are like people like really using that apps? It's like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah?
These are big apps. They are
Okay.
multi-million dollar apps, by the way.
Interesting. But do you feel that's a bit of a
Headspace. Haven't you heard of it?
headspace?
Like I don't
No,
know how I
never heard
forgot
of it.
Headspace,
Yeah.
but Headspace and Calm, these two apps, big, 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 big apps. Sponsoring a lot of YouTube videos as well. Getting people to come on there. They have guests coming in doing the guided meditations as well. It's crazy. Okay, and they have guided meditation routines. It is actually helping people.
Interesting.
And nowadays, with the problems of anxiety being way high up,
Yeah.
people are stressed out of their mind, working long hours. And this is absolutely necessary. Okay. And it would have been huge, but it's gone,
Oh, is it?
unfortunately.
And
Yeah,
why is
it is
that so?
gone. No exposure.
Oh, is it?
Absolutely no exposure. They were building it. Yeah. I suggested that we do marketing and we get them in front of people who are working really hard. Let's say engineers. Let's say we don't know how much they would be willing to use it. We didn't know them back then
Yes.
because we hadn't done a lot of research about it,
Yeah.
because they didn't commission any research on it. That's one. Okay, so testing, as we know, is like a big thing,
It's
marketing.
very important. Yeah.
Yeah, like none of it.
Okay.
They hadn't done any of it.
So they were never kind
The
of like
idea was just
research with their customers, kind of understand whether this
no,
is something which
no,
could help them in terms of making their meditation better. Because that's the
yeah,
problem. You
yeah,
can't really meditate, whatever happens, right? And if this tool can
yep,
actually get you in that mode, would be
yeah,
something very
absolutely,
different. Yeah. But
yeah,
it could
and
also be
it
a
would have,
fad, right? You may never know, right? Even like look at Google
yes,
Glass, which came
yes,
in, right? Uh,
yes,
Again, Google is a big brand. They've marketed it so well. But in spite of that, it did not
yep,
fly the way we wanted, right? Because one was obviously privacy
yep,
reason. But do people really need that? So if it's not like really, if I do something extra to like use it, is that a use case for my customer? Would I like really spend so much time? Is there
right,
like
yeah,
a market fit, which we have kind of
yeah,
identified? So we've not like done that. It could be just one of the things, right? So if we don't even know whether the product will resonate with your customer, forget about marketing it next, right? It's
yeah,
obviously to kind of validate in terms of your product or
yeah,
services that it makes sense for your current customer or audience, which you like really want to target. Yeah, you don't like the word
yep.
target, but yeah. To
This
reach
is the
out.
conversation that we had off camera.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the conversation we had off camera, where I said, well, target is a very antagonistic word in my opinion.
But that's what we
And
do
I
in
don't think any
marketing,
of us.
right? So yeah, you don't want to be targeted, but you want to
I know,
target as a
I
marketing
know.
person. So yeah.
Yeah, I just have a different name for it, which is the audience that you serve, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, and most people, I'm not against people using it. I just think it's a antagonistic, very antagonistic word. Personally, I just say this is the audience that I serve. That's it.
Yeah. Get that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, with the Google Glass, you brought in a very interesting point actually. Sometimes the technology that is invented or the product that is invented is way ahead of its time.
Yes,
Okay.
quite possible.
And from my design background, I know this, which is crazy. I think if I'm not wrong, okay, this was the guy who designed a window on the first space mission, if I'm not wrong.
Was it? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a
With
very
like
futuristic
window on the spaceship.
technology. I mean, there's no questions about it.
Yeah.
Yes. But whether
So,
it's meant for the market at this point of time?
yeah. So I think this was the same guy who designed New York or Manhattan. This was the same guy who designed New York or Manhattan as well.
Okay.
But the thing was, he mentioned something very specific, okay, which was the most interesting thing. He said it can't be too far. It can't be too far from existing.
Yeah.
Even if you go too far, you reel it back.
Yeah.
The reason you reel it back is the relatability is not there. Like
That's
people
true.
can't think of using it.
Yes.
So just imagine way back when people were just riding horses, yeah, them directly looking at somebody coming up with flying cars. Like it's like nobody's going to want it
Yeah.
because not relatable at all.
But now you have
That's the
that
thing.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody who's perfected this and maybe to not to people's liking as well is Apple, because they will invent something or they'll go way far ahead. At least they did during Steve Jobs, and they'll reel it back a little bit, reel it back,
Hmm.
and then they'll just release it over versions when they made it better,
Brand which comes
just to
to
keep
my
that relatability.
mind is Amazon. So I mean, Amazon
Right.
started with something very small, with only books as a category, and they did not like scale to
Yep.
multiple industries and market.
Yep.
Mature, they kind of focused on only one segment and kind of like got people used to kind of convenience, online buying, like
Yep.
used to it. That's when they kind of got in other stuff, and that's how they kind of scaled effectively. So it was not like all things together at one go. So I think that focus and kind
Yep.
of aligning with your customers is equally important.
Yep. And we should actually add on this, by the way, on the first point as well, which kind of leads into the second point, right? For us, which is no visibility. Like there's a visibility problem for, especially when there is so much competition, which is actually the third point. We'll talk about it. But no visibility, which is the second point, which is an absolutely insane big problem. This is also for brands that exist. Some brands exist, they do not participate in marketing very seriously, no matter what marketing it is, no matter whether it's brand marketing, no matter whether it's influencer marketing, no matter whether it's direct sales marketing, whatever marketing there is. Okay. And marketing, funnily enough, okay, let me know your perspective on this as well. Okay.
Yeah.
I personally think it's completely stupid, which is marketing is the last resort for people.
Yeah.
Now, why would you want marketing to be the last resort and something that will, as soon as the recession comes in or things get hard, as the first thing that they slash is marketing spend?
Yeah. That's true.
Absolutely insane. What? There's a recession. You need more clients. You need more leads coming in, and you're cutting your marketing costs down.
Yeah. That does not make
Like
sense.
you're
Yeah.
cutting off something that actually getting leads in. Well, provided that it's done properly. But what do you think about this, Ashwin?
Yeah. I feel that I think there's one of our clients, right, which kind of switched to marketing during bad times.
Yep.
During COVID, you know that majority of our brands were kind of like reducing their marketing spends. But there was this
Yep.
brand which was basically a florist brand in Singapore. And they were kind of
Yep.
relying more on corporate partnerships and events to kind of display their florist, displays which they have typically. So the moment they
Yep.
kind of like even that kind of cut because of COVID, people we were not going to office. There was no need of a launch activity or whatever, right? So that's where
Yep.
they kind of came to us, where they said that this thing is completely shut, but we have to still run our operations. We have a huge team. We have a lot of inventory. What do we do with that? So we kind of like moved that completely to an online space and got the brand D2C for the first time. And we started with like social media, doing ads across social media, boosting that, using influencers to kind of do that. But the first thing, obviously, was kind
Yep.
of bundling the products and giving them a more premium feel,
Right.
and then eventually kind of marketing them. So they started with a offline to an online thing, and that pivot which happened and the kind of focus which
Yep.
marketing got for them, it was bombastic, right? So we got almost 7x returns for them within a period of like 6 to 7 months. And in good,
Oh
like
yeah.
Mother's Day kind of sale, was like even 10x. I
Yep.
think that's a lot of brands want to reduce on marketing, but you can actually pivot during bad times and make marketing work for
Yep.
you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my take
Do
on
you
it.
mind if I ask you a couple of questions regarding that,
Yeah.
the florist thing? Yeah. So let's say with the florist thing, right? What were the problems that they had before? Like you said that they switched to D2C.
Yeah, so
What was the
that
situation?
so before that they was actually in the retail space completely. A
Right.
shop they had was
Okay.
not in the main CBD area or near residential complex. It was more in the industrial kind of a zone, so they didn't have much
Right.
audience or walk-ins coming any which ways.
Okay.
Purely on B2B partnerships, floral
Right.
scapes, even wedding banquets was like a big thing for them. But
Yep.
this was not working for them during COVID times, and that's what kind of made the pivot towards D2C, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Everything was shut down basically.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they were in a crunch. A
Yes.
lot of businesses that I've seen in the past that I've come across, what they do is they don't account for or charge for their marketing services, meaning the
In
marketing
the
services
in their
is not
entire
built in
okay, that does not make
correct in the
sense.
life cycle.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
Correct.
it's an expense kind of a thing,
Correct. So
investment.
they're actually
Yeah.
treating it as something that they have to do after the fact
Yes.
rather than roll that cost in the marketing itself. So they don't do that. Here's an interesting thing. This is what I've learned from my woodworking experience. I did like a very basic woodworking. You can't call it a business. Didn't really sell quite a lot, but you can call it a hobby that paid a little bit.
Okay.
So I was doing this woodworking thing. Okay, then I come across a person on YouTube. I don't remember his name, but he was sharing the financials, right? And he was saying if you want to be doing this as a serious business, right? And by the way, this is an example of how you can learn from pretty much anywhere, right? And this is a good research term as well. It doesn't have to be strictly business focused. This is what cross pollination looks like, right? What happened is he was saying that, look, you're going to use tools. Yeah, there's going to be wear on tools. Now you're a woodworker. Why wouldn't you account for that cost in it? Because you're not going to create a product without actually doing that, right? Without using your tools, right? And since the tools have get wear on it, you basically what paying out of pocket then for your tools? Then what's the point of the business? Because it's not counted in the expenses, right? So, like those sort of things. Like for example, a lot of our clients were also like my personal previous clients or the businesses that I own, they weren't charging enough. So they didn't have any really have any money. If they're netting like 5-7%, they're not going to put any money in marketing, right?
That
But
does
they
not make
don't
sense.
realize that
Yeah.
hey, this needs to be rolled into the cost. This shouldn't be costing you. This should be rolled into the cost of the service product,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? However best you can do it, and not ripping off clients or customers either. Let's say 1,000 customers. Let's say one tool, just the woodworking example again. Okay, let's say one tool or one drill bit or whatever it is that I'm using. When that particular part lasts me, let's say 1,000 cycles, and the part cost me $10, $20, whatever. It's a minuscule amount, yes,
Yeah.
but it
Zero
needs to
zero
be rolled
zero
in
point
because it's
kind
an
of a thing.
expense way. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so this is not to take advantage of customers or clients. This is not for that. Absolutely not for that. And also, price of services are going up like insane. For example, people think that when customers or clients are charging a little bit more, they're taking advantage of them, or they increase their rates, they're taking advantage of them. One good example is, let's say we're using 3 softwares to run our business. When they raise their price, is it fair for me to pay out of my pocket? So basically, it's just eating into the profit. The more it eats into the profit, the less I'm going to have to spend or invest. Yeah. The less I'm likely to hire somebody to pay them. Like who's paying for jobs? And
Yeah.
Australia's economy is 70%, 70 to 75 something percent small businesses,
Yeah.
small to medium
That's true.
businesses.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think your P&L, right? Because in your balance
Yep.
sheet, the first
Yep.
cost which goes out is the marketing expenses, right? And
Yeah.
everyone knows
Yeah.
about it, but the only thing is they cannot accounting,
Yeah.
not even know what is the cost per acquisition of one client through whatever marketing means or
Right.
through sales is.
Yep.
The cost of opportunity
Yep.
itself, people don't know about it. So then they can't really calculate. Like if I want to like reach a revenue of this
Yep.
much, how much should I invest to be there? So since that
Yep.
clarity is not there, that's where the entire thing comes to into picture, right? But marketing is not an expense; it should be a part of your investment. The way you invest in your sales, marketing, just a on top of it, kind of a thing, right? So definitely agree on that point.
Yes. Think of it this way.
And
Okay.
about the value which you bring to your client, right? As you said, the example
Yes.
of three softwares, but imagine that
Yep.
software which increase the price is kind of the best convenience and the kind of they're adding features which will make my life easy to pay
Yep.
more for kind of making my life easy. I'll obviously
Yep.
continue with them because of whatever experience that I've had. And they're constantly improving, right? So I don't mind being extra. And you know how costs are nowadays. So it makes complete sense that way.
Yep. Like we need an episode on opportunity cost. I don't think most people understand how much
But nowadays, if you actually look at Shark Tank, and I mean Shark Tank Australia, Shark Tank India, everyone kind of goes into
yeah.
unit economics and finding out really with
Yes.
one product sold, what's the kind of profits
Yeah.
from your cost of goods sold, your marketing, your
Yeah.
distribution, whatever it is, right? So you have to account for all
Yeah.
those things. Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be a discussion which we'll have separately in a different podcast.
Yeah. Like this is the funny thing. I think most Aussies will understand this as well, which is when it comes to marketing, they'll do something and then she'll be all right. No, she'll not be all right with this because yeah, it needs, how would you say? I would personally call marketing as half science, half art. Like the art part of it is you need to find out what actually resonates, like psychology, what actually resonates. And the science bit of it is the testing part. So we'll have one episode on what the most efficient process looks like for marketing. But yeah, we'll have an episode about that.
Yeah.
But in terms of opportunity cost, like this is the thing, right? I would have to disagree slightly on the Shark Tank bits. They calculate everything. They calculate the customer life cycle, the customer, average cost of
Yeah.
acquisition. Yeah,
Yeah.
business savvy people, or even if you're not business savvy, please do this because you will know how to allocate funds then. It becomes very easy to allocate funds. Like, okay, I get this much sits in my bank. It's not really doing you any good. If you have a business that is even mildly successful, I'd say 500K annual revenue plus, which I would call mildly successful. Until 500K is, I think it's very variable. But 500K up annual revenue, if you have that, and if you don't know where your actual costs are going, and you don't know how to allocate what comes in, right? You're going to be in big trouble. Like one of my employers, like a madman, I keep asking a lot of questions to everybody. Okay, so without really thinking of the repercussions on it. But anyways, one of my employees, okay, I asked him, he looked very stressed. Okay, so I asked, why do you look so stressed? What's going on? And he goes, well, the money comes in, and a lot of it is coming in. I'm like, whoa, that's great news. Why the long face? And he goes, but it goes out.
Yeah,
And,
that's your planning kind of a thing, right? Yeah, that's true.
this is
Different
an
financial
excellent.
management, we should have a discussion and get some financial manager, like a CFO kind of a person, right? Who could actually explain this entire thing. I'm making a lot of revenue, but I don't know where the cash is. It's not in my bank. So, yeah, cash flow issue is one more thing, right? So, definitely.
I'm taking down notes here. I'm just writing a marketing finance. I am not qualified to talk about finances.
Yeah.
This is just through trial and error, hitting your own foot with the axe. Yeah, like I don't have a foot anymore. Trust me, you do not want to go through trial by fire. Get help. If you have money and if you have a decently working business with a demand that you are consistently earning 500K and up, get help. Get professional help. I'm just going to ice it. No, go to the bloody doctor. If it's hurting too much and it's
Yeah.
consistent pain, go to the bloody doctor.
Yeah.
By the way, which brings me to the point. Ashwini, I'd like to ask you, what are some of the symptoms that you'll see that they have a visibility problem? What are some of the symptoms that you'll see?
The marketing, brand marketing,
Basically,
I think it's more of your funnel. So obviously, kind of like want to use, if you're a B2B kind of a company, you want to use a CRM system to kind of like show what's the visibility in terms of how does their funnel look, right? Definitely, there's a problem in terms of your awareness, visibility kind of a thing. You're not constantly adding leads and nurturing leads to eventually convert that to a customer, right? Again, nowadays there are so many different platforms where you want to be visible, and you need to have a nurturing funnel for each of them. So social media is one element of it. There's ads, there's networking, going to conferences, exhibiting yourself, doing YouTube, doing podcasts. Again, it depends on your industry and exactly what your competition is doing and where exactly is your customers, right? And what do they use in your industry? It's kind of like drilling down to your customers and understanding where do they spend maximum time. Basis that, you kind of select your platforms. You don't have to be like everywhere. It's
okay, hold on,
impossible.
hold on. Let me. Can I can I
Yeah.
can I interrupt, please?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get into the solutions for this.
Yes.
But like, what are some of the symptoms? Like you mentioned, one of the things that, hey, you're not adding enough leads to your
Yes.
whatever CRM that you're using, or just
Yes.
manual, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like if you're small enough, you're not adding anything to your spreadsheet, let's say. Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of these kind of symptoms? What are some more of them?
So
More of them.
obviously, the first important thing which you look is the revenue every
Yep.
month on month through whatever sales marketing platforms or channels which you're using. That's the first indicator. But have those
Right.
previous indicators also, which eventually leads to a sales. You kind of like want to track everything which happens along the way. So imagine if you're in an e-commerce world, then how many people are actually coming to my website? How many people are actually clicking and engaging with my website? How many seconds or minutes are they spending on my website? How many people are actually putting the product into my cart and not buying? And how many people are actually buying? So you need to like track everything. And what's the cost of acquisition? So if you don't have traffic to your website, whatever you do, it's not going to lead to your sales. If you have sales, but
Right.
you want to see like where exactly my customer is being lost, just pick up the phone and speak with them. I saw that, you kind of like put the product in your cart. Why didn't you like buy it? And kind of understand more in terms of gaining insight of what really the customer is thinking and accordingly tweaking. So that's equally important, talking with the customers. So I think there are like few indicators. In a B2B kind of a scenario, it's more of obviously your sales. Then before that is like your meetings. Before that is like leads, how many people you're actually talking with, all those kind of things to eventually give you the number of understanding where exactly is the problem in your entire cycle.
Yeah. In part, yes. And I'd like to add a few things to it as well. And on your point, is absolutely, yeah, it's absolutely insane. Like, how many people are actually even coming to your website?
Yeah.
Like, if nobody's coming to your website, just forget about it. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't do much about it. That's one. Okay. How
Then
many
it's
people are
like your
visiting
our
your,
topic, right? You're building a website, but there is no one
yeah,
is coming. It's not only you built a website, then automatically we'll see sales coming in. That's never gonna happen.
yeah. It's just like the product. They build it and they'll come. Like,
Yes,
it pretty much just never happens that way.
exactly.
Yeah. And also in terms of this is one of the most interesting things that I found in terms of visibility is that if let's say you get to a point where you just get a leads software and just find a couple of numbers that are in the industry that has your ideal audience, yeah, and call them up and they go who?
That's
It's
the
like
awareness
you go,
problem. Yeah, definitely.
first I think we should get a salesperson on as well to highlight where marketing lacks
Yeah.
and what are the blind spots basically, and how when it transfers into sales, right? I actually do have somebody in mind. I'll let you know after the fact. This is one of the interesting things that I found in terms of visibility. Like when you call them your ideal audience and you go and they go who, like who are you, what do you really do, and you have a really good product. First of all, if you're the owner who is doing that, I would suggest the owner to do it because they're very close to the product. I would suggest the owner to do it just a little bit, at least to get insights on your ideal customer. Okay, it's always better to just say, "Hey, we're just building something. Are you open to trying it out and just try it so
Yeah.
that you already have a built-in audience?" So we can talk about like, I will write down this topic as well, which is basically launching your business rather than just building it and hoping that they'll come. Yeah, like building in public and launching a business. So
Yeah, that's important.
okay. In terms of visibility, even more horrible, I would say, is, let's say you're doing B2B, okay, and you have some vendors that supply to you for you to build your product so that you can sell it. It could be, the selling part could be B2C or B2B, but you have vendors that supply to you. Yeah. You have absolutely no leverage. But I'll write down another topic, which is leverage. But yeah, like you have no leverage, absolutely no leverage from the vendors as well. They are less likely to give you any sort of deals. Yeah. For you to build your product. So your costs stay high up. Okay. And this is on visibility. And by the way, visibility doesn't necessarily mean you being in front of the right audience or people knowing about your brand. It also goes to the other side in terms of cost of production. If people don't know, for example, let's say nobody knew about Tesla. Okay. Would it be able to attract good engineers to work with them?
Yeah.
Would the products would the product suffer because of that? Same thing, like Tesla, whatever example you want to take. I
Yeah,
just gave
so
you
but
Tesla. Okay, let's take.
was I mean, since you got the topic Tesla, I did things very smartly. So Tesla was the other way around. So they never had a mass production scale. They first marketed their brand out. So Elon Musk was the one kind of like marketing and kind of getting people on a waiting list to go and buy the high-end luxury cars from on the EV
Yep,
space kind of a thing. And
that is
that's
launching.
yeah, and that's exactly
That's
he's kind
basically
of like
launching.
relying on customers, eventually customers' money have his
Yep,
R&D. So it was not like it's a very
yep,
different kind of a marketing tactic altogether.
yep.
Yeah.
Look how Elon has done it. Whether or not whatever story is about
Yeah.
Tesla, I know the story about Tesla. But the point is,
Yeah.
how would you say? And we can get into this, by the way. We can have a
Yes.
lifelong fight about personal branding as
Yes.
compared to
Not personal
just
branding. There's a different thing
reputation.
altogether. It's kind of like building a community of people who love your product even before experiencing it. Level
Yeah.
of marketing and getting the word of mouth out. The
It's
way,
good.
yes, it's good.
I would say it's good and bad because look, if your personal reputation is rubbing off on your company, right? You know how, like, I think in recent statements, Elon Musk said, look, Tesla is the company that builds electric cars. We build electric cars, we build automobiles that help save the planet and all these things.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to do with Tesla, which he has because his reputation is rubbed off on Tesla 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, it's good and bad.
That's
If your
true.
personal reputation is linked with your business, it could be a good thing and could be a bad thing too. Okay.
Yes.
So just take Tesla as an example for good and bad, both.
Yes.
But yeah, like in terms of product, okay. So this we're veering off a little bit on the topic, but
Yes.
this actually this is actually meaningful. Okay, the reason this is meaningful is because there are plenty of ways to get visibility on your product, on your brand, on your business, and all these things. We are leading this into the solutions part. The solutions, look, what do you think about what do you think about giving solutions out without actually knowing the problem of the business? Because I would say, yeah, it's just, I think we discussed about this before. It's like handing a hammer to somebody
Yeah.
who may not have a
It's kind
problem
of
that they can
a
fix with a hammer.
shooting in the dark kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Right? You kind of like just shooting in the dark and hoping it's a
yeah.
bullseye. That's never going to happen, right? It's more of
So
really finding the problem out.
yeah, so our solutions would be very general, and how would you say, very high level, but pardon me, specific solutions need specific problems that need to be understood really well. And then you can come up with specific solutions for them. We can't now because we don't know your businesses. We don't know the inner workings. We don't know whether the problems can be solved with marketing. None of that. We can't do that on the podcast. If anything regarding that, just contact us directly and we'll try and sort you out as best as we can on that.
Now, say that if any one of you are facing any problems, business problems, and if I really
Mhm.
open in terms of being a part of YouTube or podcast, just let us know. You can kind of comment or DM us, and we will get in touch with you and get you on one of the podcasts and kind of help solve the problem or give you a solution
Right.
if possible on the call, or if not, it's unraveling your problem and then
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah. Like
So
a
yeah,
proper diagnosis. How about this? How about this? Like any of these sort of episodes where we're actually helping customers or clients find what the actual problem is, whether it can actually be solved using marketing or what ways we can solve it, which is basically be a business solution, or let's say business diagnosis,
right,
one A,
right.
right? How about this? We do it after the process, like a process episode. Like
Yes,
what's the best process? How does the ideal, most efficient process looks like
yes.
in order to solve any problems in the business? So we'll do it after that episode, I think. What do you think, Ashwini?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But I
Yeah,
mean,
good
if you
idea.
like first find out how the process is, and
Yeah.
yes, listen, we just be a part of it. We
But
would love
still
you to.
get in touch. Still
Yes,
get in touch with it with us. And if you're open to discussing just ballpark figures, not you don't need to give us
give
the exact
everything.
figures,
Yeah,
just ballpark figures. And we will expect you to have your ballpark figures. Otherwise, we can't really give you any solutions on here. Or can't even find the problem if we don't
yeah,
know the ballpark figures. But in case any of that is true and you're okay with doing it, just contact us, DM us, just comment. I would put specific criteria that how we would choose businesses is basically you'd need to have at least a business that is running, earns, I would say, 1 mil up
yeah,
in revenue annually and has been consistently doing it at least for the past 3 years. And then we can go from there. The reason I say this is because if you're under that, sometimes you don't have enough time to solve the problem. So you'd be wasting your time, you'd be wasting our time discussing about this. Also, you may not have people to solve your problem because, like, let's say you want to go ahead with us, we can help you show if it's a marketing problem, it can be solved through marketing thing. We can do or branding, as a matter of fact. We can do all of that for you. But if our service, let's say, is unaffordable on that end, then you would need people to solve your problem within your company. So unless you're ready to hire new people to solve that problem for you, then it should be okay. But in my experience, if you're not earning 1 mil up consistently, you either don't have either of them enough to actually solve the problem for yourself.
yeah. Makes
So
sense.
help you out in terms of diagnosis so that for you to find out what the problem is. But I don't think it'd be a lot of help after that. Okay, so leaving that aside, what do you think in terms of competition? Like build it and they'll come. Yeah. I suspect may have been true before, where there were only two or three people doing it. So the word spread. So there wasn't a visibility problem for them, right?
Yeah,
Because the word spread, only two people are doing it, let's say in a city or in a town, and everybody who wants to, let's say, building carriages, let's say, yeah. A couple of people building really excellent luxury carriages. People just go, these two people build it. So you have a choice of either or, either this guy or either that guy, or either, yeah, whoever's building it, yeah, this builder or that builder, right? So right now, what do you think? How does competition play a part in this, in terms of
yeah.
build it and they'll come?
Yeah, I think currently it's too much of a competition. Some of the industries are
Yep,
very niche, and getting into that might not always be easy, right? Sometimes people do
yep,
say most of the boring businesses are where you actually make more money,
yep,
and there could be still less competition. But if you look at other brands, right, where if you like looking at fitness, anything consumer facing, there are like so many competitors out there. And with internet, that things have gone like more than 10x, 100x kind of a thing, right?
yeah,
Everyone over there has something to do with internet and some kind of like online brand which they kind of like manage, right? So it's too much of competition, and getting your audience right is very important for a brand. And then next is obviously kind of how do you position your brand differently as compared to so many things or so many brands available online or offline, either ways, right? So yeah, that's my take on it. What do you think? Is it like,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think on competition? Is it like too much, or it's manageable, or is it more of the product services which would be different, which will kind of like help them? Or how do you kind of like carve that thing separately for a brand kind of a thing?
Right. And to your point, yes, absolutely. There's a lot of competition now. It's difficult to stand out. Like it's basically, think of it this way. Think of a blank page and there's two dots on it, right? Two little black dots. It's easy to spot. There's two. and it's just a blank page or a blank canvas. And if you say absolutely no context and you're only allowed to choose one.
Yeah.
It's easy for you to choose. You can go this one or that one. 50-50% chance. My maths is terrible, so don't blame me for that. If
I
it's
know.
not a 50% probability,
What
do
happens
not
when
blame
there
me
are
on
four
that.
dots? Yeah.
Correct. Four dots. I mean, I don't
How
know,
much percentage?
25% chance
Not bad.
probability.
Just testing. Not too bad.
Oh no, my maths has been tested. Okay. But yeah, so in terms of that, let's say we have 200 dots. Now what happens? Now you have to choose one.
Yeah.
And it'd be very legit for you to let's actually play this exercise. Yeah. For you, Ashwini, there is 200 dots. Blank canvas 200. Imagine blank canvas 200 dots. Okay? Choose. They all are the yeah, choose.
So typically, I have a policy in the company. We look at three
Yep.
vendors, and three vendors come and kind of present their quote and pitch to us. We select the one which we kind of like align together. Kind of like
So
filter
which three are you
200.
going to choose?
Yeah.
Which
Then
three are you going to choose?
that's there, right?
How do you narrow down the search?
So it's based on a lot of things, right? First is obviously I go and ask people who are experts in the industry. I go online, Google search something, or I just kind of like I look at my problem, automatically you'll see ads coming in on Facebook, Insta. I kind of like then follow this page, and that could be one of my brand in my consideration kind of a set, right? So but there are like it is very challenging and very difficult. But it's also
So
like I
how
look
many
three
would you
max,
go to?
five, not more than that. And the bandwidth to like
200 of them.
but I'm not gonna like
I know, but
obviously
there's 200
see
of
out
them.
of the 200, not everyone is going to be the best. I look at the reviews also, like how are these
Yeah.
people kind of like being reviewed online. Filter
Yeah.
five max, and that's something which my team will do it for me. They
Yeah.
filter three,
Okay.
and then,
Let's say
yeah,
50 of them have 4.9 review. What do you do then?
impossible. And then it's more of like convenience. What's easy for me? Oh, I've heard about this brand.
Let's say 30 of them are close to you.
Yeah. Then it's like then convenience. What I actually look at what exactly do I want. I actually go to the reviews.
They all do exactly the same.
Impossible. I'll
Exactly what
just
you
go with
want.
my gut feeling.
Exactly what you want.
Gut
They do
feeling.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
how
what
do
I
you choose?
and then it's kind of like picking
Gut
up,
feeling?
yeah, gut
Right.
feeling and selecting the best five
Gut
which I
feeling.
feel is impossible for me
Right.
service.
Okay.
And I just look at convenience, what's easy for me, and the best five. And that's what
Okay.
I mean the rest will be out of my consideration at any which ways, right? And then you do
Okay.
use multiple platforms.
Yeah.
So
Let's
person
say
who will
you
look
searched
at
all the
or
you
200.
searched all the platforms.
Yeah.
Let's say you search all your trusted platforms. Let's say you've contacted all the trusted people that you know within the industry. Let's say they have suggested you all 30 of these.
Okay.
What happens then?
Impossible. I'll ask my team to go and
I know, I know. This is the funny thing. Okay, now if you roll it back, I went from 200. So there's 200 of them. They look similar to each other. Yeah. My follow-up questions to Ashwini and what Ashwini did very naturally is that she started to remove options so that she can narrow down the options. She tried to disqualify out of 200. Okay. Now it's a blank canvas. There were 200 dots on it. One indicator for Ashwini would have been how reliable they are. Does the dot look dark or does it look faded off? So she's going, these are the dark ones. Okay. That gets it down to 50. Okay. Now, just follow along, follow along. Then the 30. Okay. The 30 are the ones that, let's say, are bigger than the rest, 20, similar bigger size. Okay. That could be your product being really good, your reviews being really nice, whatever that is. And from that, she is choosing. Now, the thing is, let's say, Ashwini, for you, this would be the question. Let's say four of them are red in color.
Okay. So
Just out of those 30 dots, yeah, out of those 30 dots, which are black, okay, not even gray, just black, same size, similar, sorry, not same size, similar size, everything like that. Three of them are red. What happens then?
then we go through the proper vetting process, right? Where we ask them to come in, present their solutions to us.
Who are you asking?
Those three brands.
Why?
Why not?
I just gave you the difference in the color. That's it.
It's
Why
in
did
the
you choose
color.
those three?
No, no, because of that. Because that kind of like resonates, right?
I
There's something which done
exactly
differently, right? Yeah.
what Ashwini has instinctively done is she has chosen somebody that aligns with her positioning. That is exactly what it was. Those three of them look red, they look distinct. The sizes were the same, the reviews were the same, the products were similar, very similar, everything was similar. Just the positioning. Let's say one let okay, let's complicate this a little bit further. Imagine canvas, 30 dots that you've selected, similar size, all of them are black, yeah, but 29 of them are grouped up here, and one of them is like here. What happens then?
I don't know.
All of them are black.
I don't know whether it's an outlier or it's exceptionally well. So I don't know. Let's
Exceptionally bad or exceptionally
yeah.
well. Something, it has to
Something.
be something, right? In your mind, I literally just physically changed its position. Okay. Now it's just relative to, okay, sheep and maybe not sheep. And you said maybe, rightfully so, because we don't know. We don't know anything about them. We haven't researched about them, right? But your eye goes, huh, why is that one there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Doing something very
And
good or doing
and
something very bad. Could be either of that. Yeah.
correct. And you've disregarded the 29, which was similar.
Yeah.
You just thrown them away just because this one person was standing out somewhere else.
Yeah. That
There was literally no difference. Everything was the same or similar, let's say. Like they would have done a similar job
yeah.
for you.
I hope so.
Now, the thing is, what Ashwini instinctively again touched on is I don't know how they're different. We'll have to find out. Okay. But there's a chance. So we're going to give them a chance. Now, just because they were standing out of the group, away from the crowd, Ashwini gave them a chance. That's it. She gave them a chance. So, in terms of waiting, yeah, in terms of waiting or weighing the chances, this group of 29, as compared to this one standing out has much more probability of Ashwini choosing them.
Could be, obviously, after
Well, depending on
evaluating.
how good they are.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Depending on how good they are.
Yeah.
But the reason was that is because it's literally physically standing out. Now, if I add another thing to it, let's say it was slightly bigger and it was red. There you go. You see how I'm adding layers to it?
Yeah.
So it's not just standing out. It's not just your positioning standing out. What you believe in is a little bit different than others. How you present yourself is a little bit different than others. Now, all of that just pushes you away from all these people who have competition. In terms of visibility, you're right there. All of them are looking here and they go, why is that one there? Always the question that come to anybody's mind is literally just behavioral science, which is why are these grouped up and why is that alone one there? So
Interesting.
this, in terms of when people say niche down, this is what they're saying. You need to stand out. It doesn't matter what you're in standing out. If you're clever about it, and if you can get visibility on why you stand out, meaning a positioning, I'll guarantee you, if you haven't thought about it, or if you've thought about it only a little, you are right there with the other 29. I'll tell you that. And I mean, not you, Ashwini,
Yeah.
but
I'm in
I'm
red and I
addressing
look
the
like a
audience.
red. Yeah.
You are right there. If you haven't thought about it much, and if you agree that the competition is high in your field, you're right there. You need to be there. You need to be thinking, and you need to be strategizing, and everything needs to tweak a little bit. Is there anything that you'd like to add to this?
No, I think it makes sense, right? I mean, such a chaotic market. Why would I go with, say, Apple? Or why would I go with, say, Adidas? It's basically how they kind of have positioned themselves, right? Everyone
Yep.
produces a smartphone, everyone produces apparels, athleisure wears. But then what kind of like
Yeah.
separates them? Why do you have a fan following for these products? I mean, the moment Apple is launched, people are like really queuing. That's the kind of fan base they have
Yep.
built based on a positioning which they have kind of like really believed in. And I think that's
Yep.
really important to kind of align your customers to that red dot kind of a thing.
I don't think they're queuing up anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think they're queuing up anymore.
no, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't think they're queuing up anymore. The reason I would say,
Is it?
okay, I would personally say is because Steve Jobs.
He's left the scene.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not only because of Steve Jobs, right? Apple
No
is
such thing.
Apple is more, so
There's no
much
such thing.
bigger than Steve Jobs. Obviously, Steve Jobs played a very important role, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this, and by the way, this will be
Let me check.
100% an episode in the future, which is storytelling. Absolutely insane. Okay. And I don't know whether would you agree? Steve Jobs is an excellent storyteller. Like he would weave
Oh
in stories and
yes,
all these things in his presentation. By the way, the presentation literally was a product launch.
yeah,
What do you like? The presentation was literally just that. Now the thing is, if Apple was here, they weren't with their messaging and stuff. They weren't a part of this 29. They were a little bit away here.
yeah,
Like they were a little bit away anyways with their positioning, right?
yeah.
They weren't 29 first of all in the smartphone market. Let's say the biggest product. The biggest product, surprise, surprise, was not computers, which is what they started with. The biggest product was iPhone. I think still is, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But in terms of computers and stuff, there were, let's say, three of them there. Maybe like Microsoft still never got into hardware really, but yeah, like other makers and Apple just there. But Steve Jobs, when Steve Jobs was there, he just pushing it away and away and away and away and away and here. Just because of, let's say, charisma, storytelling, all of these things, what they stand for,
Yeah.
repetition as well in terms of the messaging going out, and his own reputation attached with the brand, and just moves it away and away. So you don't necessarily have to have anything extremely special for this to stand out and to look, sound, feel different from the competition. There's lots of little things that you can do that can put you away. And how would you say, they stop being a competition for you, if you know, like get to a blue ocean in terms of
Yes.
reputation.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
that
So
makes.
in terms of reputation, you're in a blue ocean by yourself. So your reputation cannot be replicated that easily, right? And since your reputation cannot be replicated that easily, you don't have to worry about it too much. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like a basic solution to visibility. You touched on it before, anyways, like in terms of what channels you're going through and all these things. But
Channels
yeah,
have
like
changed, right? Oh yeah,
channels,
yeah.
yeah. So let's say it was a perfect combination of you having less competition naturally and all the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, where you can market yourself. And they wanted more people to market on them, right? So they would be pushing you much further than trying to monetize you as hard, even YouTube or other podcasting. Well, podcasting is still a niche, I would say,
Yeah.
big niche, but still a niche. But YouTube, let's say, there are very few people making quality content. When I say quality content, I mean they add context to it, like we did in this. Not to say that we are excellent at this. No, it was literally the first time we're recording it. But yeah, like we have added context to it. We have added symptoms to it. We have talked about the problems. So the channels have changed. What do you think about this, Ashwini? How do you
Yeah.
think the channels have
I mean, it's
changed? What has
also
happened?
going to change going forward, right?
Yep.
Like, if you look at like the earlier century, it was, I mean, you did not have these channels. It happened only after internet boom, which came in like late 90s. Before that, we kind of like relying so much on newspaper, print ads, out of, home advertising, or you had mailers being kind of like dropped at people's place. But those channels are still there, but those are so much expensive, which a SME cannot like really afford it. But now we have different kind of problems coming up. There are so many channels. Like, how do I know which one like really will work for me, right? You have LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, like so many different applications coming in. You have Twitter, you have whole lot of things, right? Then how do you kind of like select which is the best platform for you? I think that's an important question which the business needs to find out, which happens during the discussions which we have with you or your brand in terms of like unraveling what are the problems which your customers are facing, basis which could be a best platform for you as a brand. Obviously, in terms of marketing, we understand all the channels, but in terms of how does this resonate with your brands, that's only after going into deep discussions with the brand to identify which will really work for you. Again, it's important to go deep in whatever channels you're going. So yeah.
Yep. What do you think about omnipresence? Okay, so this is why I'm saying this, because the channels have changed. Okay, and to be fair, a lot of channels are costing way more.
Yes.
So the return on investment or return on ad spend, if you can get it as close to tracking the metrics. Okay, what metrics you track. So return on ad spend, ROAS, is what we call it. Return on ad spend has decreased, meaning you have to spend more to get more clients, or you have to spend more to get the same client that you would have gotten for lesser amount, let's say 2 years back, 3 years back. Yeah. And this issue was also, how would you say, like this issue went on steroids because of COVID. Because a lot of people had reduced their marketing spend, but a lot of people had also increased their marketing spend.
Yeah.
And those who stood out very quickly
Yeah.
and had a bigger market share is the people who actually increased their ad spending during COVID times. And because the marketing on these platforms are costing more and more during COVID and carrying on forward, the people who had reduced spending, they weren't really getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you can see the discrepancy there where let's say somebody's spending X amount of money on there, let's say $100. Okay, just as an example for calculation. Somebody's paying $100 a month to do it. Yeah. And they used to get 5 clients, let's say. 5 leads, one would convert. So 1 client, 5 leads. Yeah. Now, because of the ROAS decreasing, so return on ad spend decreasing, meaning returns decreasing on ad spend. Now they spend 100, or let's say they reduced it to $80. Yeah, they were getting nothing. They were getting 2 leads. None of them were converting. Then you had other people who had disposable income to put in during this time, and they were spending 300, 400, 500 a month, and all the leads were going to these people. So there was a structural shift there. And to be honest, it seems like the channels had gotten addicted to people spending more to get more.
Yeah.
You have to do it very cleverly. Like before, maybe you could get away with spending a little bit, doing subpar marketing. You maybe would stand out a little bit. Now you really have to be on point, especially on point with deployment of resources and especially money. Like, where are you spending? You need to track it properly. You need to change it. You need to be A/B testing it. And this would be in the future, basically, which is what I mentioned: marketing, part science, part art. So this is the part where you're tracking everything, testing everything, and researching properly as well. You need a really good strategy and really good positioning, along with a really good product. If you have a really good product and you have none of the other things, nobody would know about you. Nobody would buy from you. So that's the biggest issue. Okay, so
To
in terms of
add to
solutions,
that, the ROAS thing,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's a factor of like a lot of things. Competition is one of
yeah,
things, but you also have these
yeah, yeah.
algorithms, right?
Oh
All the social
yeah,
media platforms, they want you to pay.
yep,
I mean, organic
yep,
content per
yep,
se
yep,
is they want you to pay, either boost your ads or do something about it to eventually show your visibility of your post to so many different people. Is
yep.
definitely dead. But in terms of your ads, also, when you say the ROAS is decreasing, it also depends on a lot of things. Are you doing something which is very different, like your brand positioning? How creative is your ad? Is it like really getting the attention of your customers, testing, trying? All these things are like very important. So that could help you at least maintain, sometimes even uplift your ROAS, right? So competition is always going to be there. Get
Yeah.
that customer, right?
Separated out.
So yeah.
This is a really good point to end it there, but we gotta discuss really briefly what comes next.
Harry Potter and his magic wand. Yes.
Yes. The next episode, you'll see the title. Yeah. Um, um, yeah. But we would be discussing about the art and science of it. But you'll see the title. It has something to do with Harry Potter.
Maybe. Don't right
We'll keep you
now.
guessing until the next
Yes.
episode.
Yes. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, how can I forget? Sorry, my bad. Thank you, everyone, for your time. We hope that you got a lot of valuable things from this. I know this chat was very organic. We would like to keep it organic because it's more like a conversation and we're throwing out ideas. We found that this is how a lot of people learn a lot, just through having conversations about business. Very few people are having conversations about business in the right way, I would say. So this will definitely help you out. So stay tuned even for the next one.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And there's no shameless plugin. We're proud of what we do. There's no shameless plugin. Okay. We're,
Yes.
we're
We
not ashamed
believe.
about what we do at
Yes.
all.
We believe in what
Okay.
we do for our
Yeah.
clients. So, yes.
Yes. And
Cool.
we're here to help you out. So make sure, like we requested before, I'd like to request again. Obviously, you have the option to say no and not do it, but I would request if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Yeah, we would like to go through the questions. Also, any topic ideas that you'd like to see, put them in the comments. We'll pick the best 10. Yeah. Then, like those other 29 dots and that one dot, we'll find out three of the best topics and we'll actually put it in our topics list so that we can do justice by those topics as well. Okay, so we'll end it there. See you
Thank you
next
so
time.
much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.